Some wrist traction and self-mobilization. So I'm going to take a band here, and so I'm going to come a little closer. So the wrist, the crease of the wrist and the bones of the hand, that's where we're going to try to hook the band. So I'm going to come here and my palm will be up. And so I want to get the band not so much on the forearm and not down by too much in the back of the hand, kind of right at the base of the wrist, and then it hooks around the base of the thumb and kind of the counterpart there on the pinky side. And I'm going to have you cross those over to kind of hook the band in place so it looks like that on the back side of my hand. Okay? That should allow you to keep your hand fairly relaxed. So I'm going to get this in an X again, and I'm going to run my middle finger through that X and just gently close my fingers. That keeps everything in place. We're then going to come into some tension on the band. That's getting some distraction on these joints. And we're just going to hang out here and do some different wrist motions. So we're going to do some rotation, palm up, palm down. We can go pinky down, thumb up. We're going to go, I can gently close my hand and keep the band there, so tension's still on it, holding it in place with my fingers to come wrist up, wrist down. So the idea is that we're getting some distraction, some pulling on these joints of the wrist to allow the wrist to move a little more free. If that's still painful, the first thing I would do is maybe try a little bit more tension. The tension should not be painful. Second thing I would try is just kind of hanging out here in some traction and just doing some smaller movements. And then the final thing is you can use your hand, kind of put your hand on the band, and as your wrist comes up, push into the band a little bit to help with some of that wrist extension movement that's usually the most painful. You can go at different angles, so more on the thumb side, more on the pinky side, and so we're just using that. So I find the band placement is key. So here's the bones of the forearm. It's right kind of on the hand side of that. And I've played around as crossing the band over, middle finger through, fingers gently together, helps keep that band in place. So give that a shot. The hope is that afterwards, you feel like the wrist moves a little smoother, a little more free.